I just brushed your hand, sorry.
I quite liked it, to be honest. It was like a really sweet and reassuring way to start this. Like, we got this.
I just wanted to make sure you didn't skip over it.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's start another week.
Softly.
Gently.
ANIMUS.
ANIMUS.
I'm assuming ASMR podcasts exist.
Like, for sure, yeah. Having a coffee.
Two guys in a room drinking coffee.
Love that.
How the fuck did that make so much noise?
I was saying to John on the way up, I don't know how it's happened. I got a Costa, and it's because I'm a proper, because I'm a real man, I got a large hazelnut latte, and it just tastes like Sugar Puffs milk, or as I called it earlier, Cocoa Puffs water, because it's the AM. We never record in the AM, and I am just not wired for this.
That's like as its own thing. Sugar Puffs milk, I guess, kind of sounds amazing.
No.
Yeah, no, it does.
No,
it does.
No.
But Cocoa Puffs water, on the other hand. But considering neither of those things are what you asked or paid for.
Yeah, it's it just sort of. I just thought I was going to get loads and loads of caffeine and some sugar, and I could pretend that I wasn't just in it for the sugar.
Because it's socially unacceptable to shot sugar sachets.
Yeah, can I just have some syrup, please? Is that cool? Just sell me whatever you've got to around it. Just hook me up with that syrup. Wow, that's a sentence you don't hear very often. Yeah. We're trying out a new microphone, and by trying out, I've already marked it on Amazon as for return. This is the first time I've ever returned something, and I'm just like, this thing sucks. It is the Blue Yeti Nano, and basically it doesn't have a gain dial on it, so the level is what the level is, and we can't check the level until after we finish recording, because you've got to unplug it to play back, because it's got an internal sound card. And a really fun fact which I found out yesterday is that iPad OS doesn't have a hey, here's the gain for the microphone, unless you go in a fucking GarageBand, and then if you do, it changes it for everything. So buy our £5 product.
Pissed.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing I know you guys don't care about, but it's been emotionally difficult for me. So
I wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah, this is therapy for me. Yeah. So I just need to talk about technology. So Blue Yeti Nano. Let us know if you like it, because it will be on its way back to an Amazon warehouse. We'll just buy it again.
Pick it up on the way back.
Yeah, exactly that. Amazon's round the corner. That's really weird.
Yeah.
Specifically weird because when Prime Same Day came out in London first, despite being you wouldn't enjoy it, but you could walk it from here.
Yeah. You put a couple of hours aside.
Yeah.
Grab an audiobook or perhaps your favourite podcast, some walking shoes and take a stroll.
Yeah.
What a mess that would be if people could just rock up to Amazon and just buy stuff.
Yeah, just hey, I really wanted that thing. Could you just get it from the back? Is it? Yeah, there's
Argos times
exactly that. Just sort of I've got my order number. Shall I wait in the queue with the other 75,000 people? Oh man, how within the first 5 minutes of this podcast did we get to Amazon shipping? Is it because of our new sponsor? It's not.
What an incredible reveal that would have been.
We got our shit together.
Thanks,
is cool.
Jeff.
Yeah. You know what we were going to talk about, though? And I actually remembered how we ended the last podcast.
What?
People being nice.
People being nice, and not nice in the convention sense, because can't drill that joke too hard.
I was going to say, I feel like we need to learn some synonyms for nice, because we've
kind, sweet, pure. Yeah, you guys have been lovely, but actually lovely. Not in a sick set, bro. In an actual... Well, yeah, a really...
sick podcast, bro, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for all the nice feedback and all the kind words, and to anyone who's left us a review or just given us some kind feedback. Thank you. You're all very nice.
Yeah,
and it's weird when people are nice to us, but thank you for trying.
Yeah, it's like I feel like I must be in some way damaged because every time somebody says something nice, I'm like, you too. Thanks. Oh, you know.
I think that's just being British, or specifically English, and from the south.
Yeah.
Because if anyone says like, "Well done, dude," and you're like, "Yeah, I did do great," they're like, "What a dick."
Yeah.
Fuck
Sorry,
that
you took my compliment to heart.
Yeah.
You're supposed to apologise for not having to, like. I'm not good at receiving these kinds of things. Everyone's been super duper nice. You've had like nice texts from people that we know like have darkness built into their souls.
Yeah.
Like, can we talk about specific people who have been nice, who are horrible people, but in a really friendly, lovely way?
No.
We'll just like keep that vague.
Yeah.
Somebody out there has been nice, and we know that you're really terrible, but we love you. Thank you for being nice to us.
All of you.
No, it's been really cool. And like, I know I've already said it, but the way in which we record these episodes are in batches. So we were doing a batch yesterday, and we thought we proper fucked it. Proper fucked it. So we might be recording this too soon. Might be saying thank you for all the nice feedback, and then people have listened to what for us is yesterday's episode. I'm not going to tell you which one it is, and just be like, oh yeah, no.
You guys are bad at this.
Yeah.
1-star reviews.
Yeah. Maybe this will be the one. Maybe this is where we've really fallen off the edge. Okay, I've been listening for 5 minutes now, and all they've been doing is tooting their own horns and talking about Amazon distribution. What the fuck is going on?
That's not what I signed up for.
I think we move away from the commercial distribution side of the podcast. I don't know how many people out there are like, you know what I really want to talk about today?
Shipping.
I was tempted to talk about more about NiceCon, and I do want to do that because we did meet lots of other nice people.
Oh.
But equally, I also want to make sure that we're keeping that nice variety, more talking variety. We should get that as like a slogan.
More talking variety.
More talking
Just
variety.
rolls off the tongue.
Exactly. That's wonderful. Also, I can't remember what radio station actually is more music variety, but it just plays pop music. What is that?
Yeah, but it plays loads of pop music.
Yeah, but like, surely it does the same thing that all like radio stations do, where they're like, hey, you got to make sure you push this album, so play it at least 10 times today. Like, how is that music variety? I've never turned on a radio station and heard like James Blunt next to like Infant Annihilator. Like, that would be music variety. If you went from like real underground grime to like slam, I would be like, oh, that really is music variety. But it's not. It's just the new Post Malone, which is, we need to talk about that. Next to the new track called Post Malone, because there's a song out that's in the charts right now called Post Malone. That's so self-serving. Like, hey, I am aware of contemporary pop because I'm a contemporary pop artist, so I'm going to sing about a contemporary pop artist.
I like that. Yeah. I just googled the words more music variety.
Yep.
And it's looks like three different stations that use it.
Okay, and do they play different kinds of music?
No, there's an article here on Mumsnet. Mm-hmm. More music variety ? How do they have the gold?
Thanks. Can we? Is there anyone on Mumsnet we can get on the podcast? Is there? I want to talk about this.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. Also, I want to.
Maybe that's the joke. Maybe they're just in on a really niche joke. Like, there's no variety.
So let's pretend that there is, and then the people who get it, and there are. Yeah. Talking about bringing people on, I quite like the idea of being straight up about all the things that we're doing. We talked about, like, we've let you guys know that, like, how we record this stuff. We've let you know, like, the way in which we schedule it. But we've also sort of had a discussion about guests and our general plan for guests. We might have some guests at some point.
Maybe, yeah.
And I've had a couple of people sort of reach out, like, I could do the thing, and I'm like, that's good, because you're the people that we were thinking about doing the thing. But episode 10, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that seems like a really, like, you guys will be sick of us by episode 10, so then we can bring in new people to spice it up. Yeah. It's like a marriage, you know. Naturally, you bring in more people after 10 years.
That's funny.
Thank you.
No worries. Yeah, I think I had something great to say and now it's gone. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I think we'll figure this out on our own for a bit, and then we'll bring some people in. But if you guys have any suggestions, any people you think you want us to talk to, anyone that you think would be make a great guest, if you yourself want to come on and chat to us, you know the email address.
Shout at animuspodcast.com. I couldn't figure out what voice I was doing, so I just sort of went Marcus Phoenix halfway through. Like, after shout! 40, let's do it!
Marcus Phoenix after 40 flags a day.
Yeah, because actually, while we were at NiceCon, again, like, this is not the episode for more NiceCon stuff, but we spoke to Sam G. London about maybe hooking something up, which would be cool. And actually, I think at some point we will talk about his comics some more, which was Milford Green, yeah. Again, we're recording this the next day, so it's the case we haven't had a chance to sit down and read it, but I'm excited to read it because it looks cool. It looks really, really cool. Also, again, we're not talking about comics, but I have to talk about it. We were at one of the panels and we had a conversation on the way back about the number of people involved in the production of a comic book. Yeah,
which as somebody on the, say, edge of the community, somebody outside the community for sure, I had no idea how much work, how much time, how many minds it takes to create a comic book. I know for anyone that's not interested, it probably just looks like brightly coloured children's drawings.
Everything's shiny and bright and happy.
But we sat in on a panel, should I say, yesterday.
Yeah. Well, people want to talk to us and hear our opinions on podcasts. On podcasts? Fucked it. All right, yeah.
We'll come up, sort of cover that fully in a different episode. But just finding out that almost everything you see on a page in a comic book probably has 7 or 8 people involved. You know, you've got writers and pencilers and inkers, which are terms I learned yesterday, and a dude that does the layout and a dude that does the text and the speech bubble and the story, and it caught me off guard. And looking back, you kind of like, well, yeah, like they're really good. That's why they're really good. Yeah. But I as an amateur, as it were, had no idea. So
I think it's mad. Like for me, like obviously. This becomes a big surprise to people, but you know, comic books and stuff like that's kind of my jam. But
you mean not fast cars and beer?
I love the sports and bikinis. I love that. But I think it was Mallrats. I'm not sure if it's Mallrats, but I think it was Mallrats that referenced pencilers and inkers, and it's sort of like as this sort of tier system, like. You can ink other people's work, and then at some point you'll graduate to be able to draw your own pieces, etc., etc. And it was one of those things that I didn't realise how deep it ran until one of these panels. We're not talking about that today.
We're not.
No. But yeah, it was just really interesting, just the number of people involved, especially when it comes to pieces like Sam G. London's, and he's working with one other guy to do all the layouts, all the drawing, all the backgrounds. It's just really interesting. And actually, I'm gonna do this now. I've got a mate who has decided that she wants to do some manga. Like she just decided like this is a thing that I want to do. So if she's listening, keep doing the thing. I've called you out now, so I expect by episode 20 you can be on to talk about your new manga. But again, just approaching it on her own, just coming up with the characters, the storyboarding, the story itself, the layouts, everything, and just taking something that she like something from her mind and dragging it into reality, and I think that's really cool. And again, we were talking about the toys and the tools being available now. You can just anyone can be like, okay, here's my dream. I'm going to just pursue that. And yeah, it can take a team of 20 people to make a comic, but equally you could just do it on your own. You could just build this world yourself. It'll take longer, but it will be a more personal, creative endeavor. In the same way, like a podcast could be a 20-man team, and we could have people who professionally do the levels, and instead it's just me and John
winging it.
Yeah, we're just freeballing it. And okay, yeah, it's never going to sound as good as the Joe Rogan podcast, but that's not the point. The point is we wanted to do this thing and we've done it.
Yeah, which is good. And I think that's 2019 specifically, but definitely the last couple of years, with the advancement of technology. Sorry if I sound like anyone's dad. But yeah, just this idea that, you know, kind of 20 years ago, like our parents' generation really had to kind of, like a handful of people would have kind of made it in the kind of creative space. And now, like, anyone with little to no background, very few kind of like opportunities can still kind of make it on their own. And I think in one of the early episodes we talked about people saying how difficult it is to be a creative. So like specifically in kind of the music space, it's very, very difficult to cut through because there's so many bands and there's artists putting music out every single day. But if anything, it's kind of easier than it's ever been because you can never step out of your front door and still have an album that charts. Like it's insane.
Yeah.
And you can create it yourself. You can write it, mix it, record it, produce it, film a music video, and never step out of your house and make millions. And I know people talk about there being no money in music, but you know you can still make a career out of it. And it's awesome. It's awesome. My favourite thing in the world is people getting fired up and getting that kind of spark and chasing their dreams, as it were. And the fact that just anyone could do it now is so cool because, you don't need to jump as many hurdles as you know you kind of needed to maybe like 10, 15 years ago.
I think I'm gonna relay a chain of events, and I can't say whether or not it's directly related. But there's one of the guys that I work with who I was telling about my friend who started her manga, and he seemed like really interested and just like excited by the idea. And then like a few days later, or like a week or so later, he decided that he wanted to pick up his art. And I don't know if the two things are related. I don't know if it's the case that hearing about somebody else just deciding this is it, I'm going to go do it, was a catalyst, or whether or not he himself just got to that point where he was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. But he's picked up the pencil. He's drawing, creating things, and that's so cool. Like, again, he knows who he is. He knows I'm excited for what he's doing, and I'm excited to see how that grows and becomes its own thing. There's another guy I used to work with a million years ago, back when I was at Bedford College, called David Litchfield, who was an illustrator, but he wanted to refine his craft. So what he decided to do is he just put it out on social media. He was going to do a new drawing every day, and I mean, I kind of want to drag David on here because David is now not just illustrating for professional publications, but like this week I saw just a splay of different versions of his latest book in Japanese, in Russian, in English. Just not only has he made a name for himself, not only did he refine his craft, but he put it out there for the world to see, and then he was able to build a career off the back of it, and now he's an internationally published illustrator. That's fucking mad. Like, for me, people like David are an inspiration because he was just like, I just want to do this thing. I'm going to do it. Nothing's going to stop me. And then he's just built an entire career around it, and he's only going to keep growing. So I'm not sure David will be listening to these, but I would like to drag him onto it at some point because I just want to hear about his ethos and his mindset and how he got there. But yeah, that stuff gets me pumped. I love that stuff.
People doing the thing.
Yeah, do the thing, and do the thing with mates as well. Like, you can definitely, if you're inspired and you want to run with something, and it's the case that it's just you, make it just you. Just go and do it. But equally, doing stuff with your mates, doing the thing with mates, is the best.
That's the one.
Yeah, because like we're in a really shit band, but it's so much fun. Like,
it's definitely a party.
Yeah, I love what we're doing, and I don't know if we're going to be internationally selling artists, and I don't know if we're going to tour the world, but I know that through every frustrating practice where we don't necessarily get the things done that we want, we're still doing it with mates. And every time we play a rad gig, we're doing it with mates, and that's fun. I like that.
Yeah, those are the highlights. The film I talked about last week had like a really, really nice line in it, and the guy was the girl that fell for the rock star said that she felt like she'd wasted the last 15 years of her life in this kind of relationship that maybe was going nowhere, and this job that was going nowhere. And said rock star, kind of, I'm sure I'm going to butcher this and paraphrase it, but he basically said, take all the moments, like you take the last 15 years you think you've wasted, you take all the good conversations, all the good meals, all the good albums you've listened to, every good holiday, take that away, because you haven't wasted time. That's what life is about. So even though it might feel like, perhaps you're not going anywhere, or perhaps you're not, what am I trying to say? Maybe you're not clearing the hurdles. Like you're still doing the thing. You're still living life. You're still having a good time, and that's kind of what it's about. And just do the thing. That's it. That's kind of I think that's probably our ethos, and maybe our catchphrase on this show is just do the thing.
Yeah. I think a life spent with loved ones and friends could not be a life wasted, but I think there are going to be things that you'll reflect on, things that you want to achieve, and sort of, again, we've sort of hit on the topics in our music, but it is the case that you're not going to regret trying something and failing. You're going to regret not doing it, and you're playing a game with infinite ammo. Come on, it's the case that, say you make a song, say you decide that you want to be an illustrator, say you want to do a podcast. It's not the case that if you do it once and it doesn't work out, that's it, well, you tried, and now no more goes, no more free goes for you. Just insert a new coin, just do it again.
Yeah.
There's no limitations except for the ones that you foist upon yourself. Don't be a foister.
Never be a foister. And if it just comes down to, man, if you want to do the thing, then do the thing. And if it's something that makes you happy, then that's it. That is the success. Like, don't put kind of ridiculous sort of benchmarks and ridiculous kind of cages around your goals and around your dreams. If it's something that makes you happy and you get to do it all the time, even if it's just playing guitar in your bedroom or painting on your balcony, or I love hanging out with friends, that's my favorite thing to do. Well, if that's what you're doing, then that's what you're doing. Yeah, then that makes up your life, and that's awesome. I think despite the fact that it is so easy now to kind of be creative and to put your message and your art in any variety out into the world, I think people are still kind of caught up in this. But what if it goes wrong? But what if I fail? But failure is a dead concept. It doesn't make any sense. What are you possibly failing at? If you paint something you think is beautiful and someone else doesn't like it, well, you still thought it was beautiful. You still did the painting doesn't go away because someone doesn't like it.
Yeah.
If your album, your podcast, your audiobook gets a 1-star review on all the platforms, what does that mean? Well, you still did it because it made you feel good. It made you feel creative. It got your message out into the world, and man, who cares?
Yeah. Like what? Like this is kind of the question that I keep sort of pushing on people is, what actually happens if you have, say, a creative endeavor and it fails? Like, what happens? Like,
Nothing.
Yeah, what do you lose? Like, what? If anything, it's just a learning opportunity. There is no downside. There is nothing. If you try something because you genuinely love it and you invest everything in it and it doesn't work out, it is just the next step on the road. That's it. And again, we're not talking about NiceCon, but one of the things that was mentioned at one of the panels was just about somebody specifically doing the inking work, being a part of the community, not necessarily doing the things that they wanted to do long term, but they were just there, and the opportunities they got through a Christmas party because they were there doing the thing that they loved and they were a part of that scene, I guess, but a part of that world. You don't know what opportunities will come your way if you actually just give it a shot. Yeah,
and I think in not to talk about the Instagram generation again, I'm going into dad mode again, but obviously, you kind of scroll through your phone and you kind of look on the internet and on TV and whatever, and everything's pretty snappy, everything's pretty quick. You see these people that it looks like life was handed to them and everything's great, and it happened overnight. But then that's kind of, first of all, it doesn't matter when it happens, because if you care about it and you love it enough, then it's already happened for you.
Yeah.
But you look at kind of these, I hate to call them late success stories, but these kind of, say actors even, that are now global megastars who never have to lift a finger again, but spent 3 or 4 decades, really just not in that same position. So Bryan Cranston. Bryan Cranston was not an A-list actor until he was in his 50s. I mean, when's Breaking Bad? Like late 40s, 50s?
You mean Malcolm in the Middle, right?
Yes, the guy in the pants. Yeah, you know, the dude was on a TV show that was so okay. I mean, Malcolm in the Middle was not, you know, not a...
You tread carefully here.
It's a great show. I just mean, you know, it's not winning a ton of awards, and he didn't play a particularly big role in it. And now he's one of the most sought after actors, dramatic actors in Hollywood. And again, him and probably his next 3 or 4 future generations don't need to lift a finger. Ricky Gervais as well. You know, whatever you think of the guy, was not an award-winning comedian or writer until I think he was late 30s, 40s. I think he was a podcast host, or should I say a radio host, and then into a podcast host. But I don't know what he did. I think he worked at a student union or something. And yeah, The Office was his big break, and that didn't come till, I don't know, 38, 39. And now again, Ricky Gervais, one of the richest dudes in the world, doesn't need to do anything. Yeah, and there's obviously the stories about, like, you kind of see plastered over Facebook, of people like Oprah and Ellen DeGeneres, people like that weren't 18 or 19 or in their early 20s making millions. You know, it took that kind of grind to get to the top, and it pays off.
I love the phrase, every overnight success is years in the making. It's the steps you make along the way. And my feeling is, if you start today, then it is the case that you are on that journey. And yeah, the first 10, 20 years could be a grind, and it could be something you do in your spare time, and it could be a hobby. But you might break then after that. Like, it break in the good way. I'm not going to pretend that it's not going to be hard, and it's not going to be frustrating, and it's not going to be the case that you're going to have some days where you don't want to do it anymore. But oftentimes, just the reward of just trying, then every little success means so much more. Even with the band, there's been times where I've been like, well, we're not megastars, so what's the point? But then you get an amazing show, and you're like, I'm so glad that this is still what I'm doing with my life.
Yeah, like, you know, you kind of, if we compared ourselves to, you know, a band that was kind of platinum selling and just selling out arenas and stadiums left, right and centre, then yeah, okay, we look like an absolute failure. But you look at where we were 4 years ago when we started this, no one knew who we were. And now we've had some mad opportunities, and we've got people that listen to our band across the globe. It's ridiculous. Like, the United States of America, which is many, many miles away, is our second biggest audience online, which is just, if you told me that when I was 18 years old, I would have lost my mind. That's just crazy. Yeah. You know, we've shipped merchandise to Japan and Sweden, and it's just, and Canada, and it's ridiculous. And yeah, okay, if you measure success in a kind of financial sense,
we fucked it.
Yeah, then maybe not. But, you know, we set out to do something we love with people we care about, and we've nailed it. And it's what we get to do every single day. And how is that not success? Like, how is?
I think that's the thing. Like, I think from an outside perspective, again, we've been at this a while. We're not a huge band, so it would be very easy to be like, well, you missed the mark. But actually, if you start counting up all these little wins and all these positive experiences that we've had, it's been very, very rewarding. And if that's the kind of rewards you get to reap as a band that hasn't made it, I feel like those opportunities for happiness are out there in every field. So I feel like we've really laboured this point, but I'm glad. Again, one of the things at the very beginning of this is I wanted to sort of like force you guys to think about the things that you're not doing because you're worried that somebody's gonna think something. Fuck them. Like,
it doesn't matter. Like, let them. Like, who cares? Like, I was looking the other day, and it's not a band I listen to a lot, but Deftones, for instance. I don't know why I was reading about them, I just was. 6 years after they started, they released their debut album. 6 years. There are bands that get together and break up in that time, and yet they hadn't released a debut album, and yet Deftones are now huge, and have been huge for some time, both in a kind of popularity sense and in a, you know, kind of financial and sort of sales and charts kind of sense, they're a massive band. And yet it took 6 years for them to just get an album out.
Yeah.
But what does that mean? Does that mean they failed in those 6 years? No. Like, look at them now.
Yeah. It's all part of the journey. All part of the journey.
Yeah. Which seems kind of...
It's a bit Hallmark, but it's...
I was going to say Clinton's. I totally got the card company wrong.
But, yeah. Our job is not to like inspire everyone to listen, to go and do it, but anyone... If we get one, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
But if that is the case, then the trade is you then have to do this thing. You then have to be like obnoxious and gross about being like, go and do your dreams to absolutely anyone who will fucking listen. I think that's how the world keeps spinning.
Yeah.
Yeah. I missed the button. I tried to hit record and I was like, nope.
No, that's why.
Like, this will be our only opportunity to be around 30 minutes.
This is it.
We didn't even get close to the topic that we were trying to get to. But we will wrap it here. Do you want to prime next week? Do you want to let them know what we were going to talk about and what we will talk? I'm stroking your table. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I think we're probably gonna keep this theme of aspiring creatives going, and just trying to get people to take the same kind of leaps that we did, because none of us have formal music training. None of us have formal public speaking training, and yet we both do the thing. We both did the thing, and we're both enjoying it, and we're both lucky enough to have. I don't like using the word fans, but people out there that
are into it.
Yeah, people that get it.
Yeah.
And kind of, yeah. It'd be good to keep that going.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it, but I might have a quick chit chat. You said about public speaking stuff. I've spent some time doing some teaching, and I'm like, it's going to come across very strange because I've talked to people about this in the past, and they almost don't believe me when I'm like, I am incredibly socially awkward, which is a very strange thing to say on a podcast.
Of someone who taught, fronts a metal band, has a podcast, and had a vlog.
I want to touch on that, but we won't do it this week. We will talk about that in the future. But this is 30 minutes ish.
Yeah, ish.
We've done pretty well. Thank you very much for listening for another week. I'm sorry that we got on the soapbox, stayed on the soapbox. I think we built another soapbox on that soapbox. We can have like a soapbox Tower of Babel. We can build up the top, and people will be like, I can't hear what you're saying anymore because you've gone too far.
Come down off the soapbox tower.
Thank you very much for listening. I've been Mikey.
I've been John.
You didn't like the Animus joke last time.
Yeah, because it was shit.
Yeah, but it could be our thing. We could sign off with that.
No.
Yeah, like every time, like, hey, and no, I was trying to build on it, but it doesn't work, really, does it?
Taking applications for co-hosts.
Bye, guys. It's been real nice knowing you.
Bye.